What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, we're going to answer probably one of the most common questions that you all ask, and that is, how do I know if my plants are getting enough water? So in today's episode, we're going to talk about 4 different ways that you can tell if your plants are getting enough water. Let's go. So the first thing I want to talk about is the soil type, because the soil probably doesn't dry out as much as you probably think. Now, when I was a beginning gardener, I always thought the soil in our garden dried out really fast. And that's because I was simply looking at just the surface level, right? I was looking at what did the surface of the soil look like. And if the surface of the soil looked very dry and dusty, that must mean that I must need water. And that in fact led me to really overwater a lot, because oftentimes your soil will dry out very fast on the surface, especially if there's not a mulch. Now, you know, in our garden, we actually use what's called a living mulch, and that's because we let the plants, because we plant so densely, they're not densely planted right now, but they will be when they're fully mature. The plants, when they're fully grown, will actually overlap the leaves and mulch the soil. So we opt not to go with a mulch, but if you're not covering with something like wood chips or pine shavings or straw or grass clippings, something like that, your soil is going to dry out on the surface. And that will lead you to think, I need to water. But if you have the right type of soil, the right type of soil will hold on to moisture for a long time. Now, obviously location, geographical differences do come into play here. Your soil in Arizona is going to dry out a lot faster than here in Michigan, same soil considered. If I take some of my soil and move it down to Arizona, it will not behave exactly the same, because obviously there's more sun, there's more wind, there's more environmental conditions. However, having the right type of soil, regardless, will give you a lot more forgiveness when it comes to watering than having the wrong type of soil. And the right type of soil that I'm talking about is considered a loamy soil that is high in organic matter. And the reason why is because loamy soil contains a lot of organic material that will hold on to moisture. Now, when you have something like sandy soil, right? Sandy soil, you can feel the sand. You can do a soil test at home. We've got videos on how to do that. Sandy soil will drain very quickly, leaving it very dry. If your soil is very silty, it will kind of repel water, right? The water will kind of beat up on the surface and roll away, and the silt will kind of float around. It'll get very silty, right? That is not a good type of soil. If your soil is very heavy clay, well, you'd know that as well, because it would stay very, very wet for a very long time, and then when it dries, it turns into just a brick. So the 3 different types of soil, sand, silt, and clay, are bad. But there's a kind of a pleasant median, about a 30% ratio of each of those, that's what makes up loam. And then you have organic material on top of that that helps to hold on to moisture. That acts as the sponge of the soil. And so even in soil, this is our cabbage bed, even in soil that has been broken down and weathered pretty well, you'll notice the soil has a much darker texture, or a much darker color, and it has a dampness, a noticeable dampness, even less than an inch down. And you have to remember, your roots are not right on the soil surface. So just because your soil surface dries out, if you have the right type of soil, it's going to hold on to water much, much longer than you probably imagine. And so that's the first thing, is having the right type of soil. You can never go with too much compost. Anybody that says you can kill your plants with compost doesn't know what they're talking about. You can grow in pure compost. We've been doing it for years. Our garden is basically 100% compost. And so yeah, our plants are fine, your plants will be fine, and you'll have to water a lot less. All right, so the second way that you can tell that you have enough water is what's called the knuckle test. Now, the idea behind this is that your knuckle should be roughly about 2 inches-ish, and that's the ideal depth in which you want to have water. The surface of the soil can dry out, and like I talked about in the first part, if you have the right type of soil, the surface of the soil should be able to dry out still while retaining moisture down below. I want to reiterate, that's the most important thing from this episode that you need to get, is that you should be able to have the surface of the soil dry out. Make it look barren, bone dry, but still have moisture 2 inches down. That's how you know you have the right type of soil, because what happens is surface weeds are very advantageous. When dandelion seeds blow, or cottonwood seeds blow, any of those weed seeds that blow, they like to land on the soil surface. They find bare soil. And what do seeds need to germinate? they need water. And the thing is that those seeds do not have the ability to tap deep down into the soil. And so what happens is they get a little water from rain or from you watering, they'll germinate. But then as you let that soil completely dry out, what will happen is those weed seeds will wither and die. And that will keep them from kind of taking over your garden. It actually is a natural weed control method, and it's very effective. But the idea is based around the premise that you should be able to have water 2 inches down. And how do you check that? It's with the knuckle test. So all we do is we simply take our finger and we just, if you have the right type of soil, it shouldn't be too bad. Simply wiggle your finger down, and I can feel with my fingertip, your fingertips have really incredible abilities to sense temperature and moisture, believe it or not. And by wiggling down, I can tell there's probably, I would say, a 20-degree temperature difference, if I had to guess, and it is noticeably damper. Now, to test that theory, I can dig down about 2 inches where my finger was, and I could see right here, this soil, even though it is still dry, we have not had rain in quite a while, I can still squeeze it and make some clumps out of it. Now it is drying out, right? It's drying out, and I probably will need to water at some point within the next couple days. But I don't have to water right away. There's not an urgency to water because there is still moisture down in the soil. It is far different, and I'll bring you guys in close, it's far different from the surface of the soil to this darker, blacker, obviously moisture soil about 2 inches down. And that's because we have the right type of soil. So you can do that very simply. You don't have to excavate your whole garden every single time you want to see if you have to water. Simply take your finger, wiggle it down about 2 inches up to your knuckle. And if you feel moisture, you're good to go for a little bit. And so that is the knuckle test. On to the third. All right, the third, and probably one of the most easy ways to tell if you need water, is known as the leaf test. Now, you probably have already done this before and not even realized it, but the leaf test is really common to tell if you need water. You see, leaves, they have the ability to uptake water as well as the ability to lose water when they respire. Now, respiration is the process of them breathing, and they actually do that at night. And what happens is on the undersides of the leaves, they have what's called a stomata, and the stomata is like the mouth of the leaf. And when it breathes out oxygen and brings in carbon dioxide. And when it breathes out oxygen, it also breathes out things like water. And so leaves have the ability to shrivel as well as to plump and become turgid. And turgid is just how rigid the leaf is. And so what you'll notice is that leaves that have enough water are nice and rigid. These spinach leaves here are glossy. That's the first indication. You can tell, are they glossy? Because when a leaf loses its rigidity, imagine a balloon, okay? And a balloon, it's kind of waxy, or not, it's kind of chalky, right? Chalky, you blow it up, it becomes shiny, right? It's filled with air, so it becomes shiny. Well, these leaves have cells, and when those cells are full of water, they also become shiny. Imagine a grape, right? A grape is shiny, but when it's a raisin, it's more kind of waxy and faint in color, right? Same exact thing applies. So you use your visual cues to say, is it glossy? Is it shiny? Is it also standing upright? Is it nice and firm? Or is it limp? And by doing these visual cues with the leaf test, that will often tell me all I need to know. I don't need to stick my finger 2 inches down in the soil. I don't need to dig down, to see if there's water. I don't even really need to use any of the methods we're going to talk about, because this is, once you hone this skill, the best visual cue. Now, I will say, there is a really important point that I need to make here, and that is that all plants will react differently at different levels of dryness, right? A pepper plant, which likes dry, arid soil, will show signs of drought much, much later than, say, something like lettuce or a pea plant or broccolis, cabbages, things like that. So don't use one plant to use this as an indicator. Go to all your plants and really test them all, because that will help you actually to learn what plants need more water and what plants need less water. Because that ultimately, once you learn that, that is kind of that's the ticket to the city, because that's the key to the golden city, if you will. Because once you unlock that, that will allow you to know, okay, I need to water this bed more frequently, this bed not as much. And those little tricks is what's gonna take your gardening game to the next level. So that's the third way, and I'll tell you the fourth way, which is by far probably the most dummy proof, but it's one that everybody can use. All right, and the fourth and final way for you to know if you have enough water is by far the most dummy proof, and that's okay, because when I was first starting out gardening, I needed something that was dummy proof because, well, I was a dummy, and that's okay. And that was a moisture meter. Now you can get moisture meters pretty much anywhere, any garden supply center, any hardware store, online, there's gonna be moisture meters for you. They all basically work about the same, and essentially they work as your knuckle. You stick it down into the soil about 2 inches deep, and it literally has a meter that will tell you, is it dry, is it moist, is it wet, or is it very wet? It will tell you those things, and I don't know all the science about how they work, so I'm not even gonna get into that, but they are so simple and by far the easiest way to know if you need water in your garden. Now, I will say, what I would prefer you to do is to take from the other 3 methods, because those are the most hands-on ways that you actually learn. And I find that when you use tools that kind of spoon feed you, it does kind of prevent you a little bit from maturing and learning as a gardener. So what I would prefer you to do is, if you really have to rely on moisture meters, is to use moisture meters to almost as a way to check yourself, right? In school, we were not allowed to use calculators in math class. We had to use our brains, but we could use a calculator to check to see if we were right. And I love that analogy because that's kind of what I like to do in the garden, is to use the tools that we have at our disposal with our hands, our minds, our eyes, use our senses, right, to learn about the garden around us, become a better gardener, but have tools that can check our work to see if we're right or not. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. But those are the 4 simple ways that you can tell if your garden needs water. I can safely say that watering is the sticking point for a lot of gardeners. It is what either kills a garden or what can make it thrive. Too much of any good thing can be a bad thing, but not enough of a good thing can also be a bad thing. So it's the Goldilocks scenario. It's the just right. You just want just enough water so that your plants thrive, but don't suffer from things like root rot, damping off, powdery mildew, blights, funguses, all the problems that can come with overwatering, while still not having things like drought, plant stress, blossom end rot, all the things that come with underwatering as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you did, let me know in the comments box down below, and also let me know what watering technique, or kind of what water measuring technique you use to see if your garden needs water, down in the comments box down below. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. Bye.